something shifted inside airports and hardly anyone noticed. As 2026 rolled in, airlines and airport systems quietly updated how things work behind the scenes. No big announcements, no clear warnings, just silent changes buried in procedures. And if you're over 65, these updates affect you more than anyone else. Here's the reality most people miss. Every time rules change, there's a gap between what exists and what travelers actually know. And inside that gap, that's where stress, confusion, and unnecessary costs happen. But once you understand how the system works now, everything feels different. Security becomes easier, boarding becomes calmer, staff respond faster, and instead of feeling rushed or overlooked, you're in control, and it starts before your bag even hits the scanner. Let's begin with something most people still don't realize. Medical items are no longer handled the way they used to be. In many international airports today, essential health equipment like CPAP machines, insulin, and medical liquids don't always need to be removed during screening. That alone removes a huge amount of stress. But here's the problem: not every officer has fully adjusted to these updates. Some still follow older procedures, and most travelers don't question it, so they end up doing extra work they didn't need to do. There's a simple way to handle this. Before your bag enters the scanner, calmly let them know you're traveling with medical items under current guidelines. You're not arguing, you're just making it clear. That one step often changes how the entire interaction goes. Now let's talk about boarding, because this is where most people feel the pressure. Crowds build, people rush forward, overhead bins fill up quickly, and suddenly it feels like you have to compete just to get on the plane. But here's something important. If you're over 65 and even slightly limited in mobility, whether it's knee discomfort, balance issues, or standing for long periods, you can request early boarding assistance. Not special treatment, not a favor, just proper support. That means less waiting, less pressure, and more time to settle in comfortably. But airlines rarely offer this up front. You have to ask for it. A simple request at the gate is enough. And once it's added, everything becomes easier. Now here's something even more important. You should never be separated from the person traveling with you. In the past, it happened all the time. Different lines, different boarding groups, confusion everywhere. But now, if you're receiving any kind of assistance, your companion is allowed to stay with you throughout the entire process, from security to boarding. That means less stress, more clarity, and a smoother experience from start to finish. But again, it only happens if you make it clear. Let's move to something that used to cause serious frustration: mobility support. There was a time when requesting help meant long waits, missed connections, and being left unsure of what was happening next. That system has improved. Airports are now expected to provide continuous assistance when requested properly. From check-in all the way to the aircraft, no gaps, no confusion. But here's where people go wrong. They make a vague request and get a basic service. If you want a smooth experience, you need to be specific. Ask for full assistance from start to finish. That clarity makes all the difference. Now let's talk about seating, because this is where many travelers lose money unnecessarily. Airlines charge for comfort. That's how the system works. But there are situations where you don't need to pay. If you have mobility concerns, circulation issues, or need easier access, you can request a more suitable seat without extra cost. That includes aisle seats or seats closer to the front, not as a favor, but because it supports your comfort and safety. The key is how you ask: clear, calm, and direct. Now here's a mistake many people still make without realizing it: storing important medication in the overhead bin. It seems safe, but temperature changes up there can affect certain medications. There's a better option. Cabin crew can often store sensitive medication in controlled conditions if you request it early. That keeps everything stable and removes unnecessary worry during the flight. Let's talk about something almost no one uses, but should: quiet spaces inside airports. These aren't luxury lounges, they're low-noise areas designed for comfort, less crowding, less stress, a place to sit and breathe before boarding. Many airports have them now, but they're rarely advertised, so most travelers never find them. If you're receiving assistance, you can ask about these spaces, and in many cases, you'll be guided there. Now here's something that catches people off guard: extra bags. Most travelers think they're limited to one carry-on and one personal item. But if you're carrying essential medical items, you can have an additional bag for those items. No extra charge. The issue? Not every staff member remembers this. So if it's questioned, stay calm and explain that it's a medical bag. Clarity ends the conversation quickly. Now here's one of the most powerful things you can use: language. Airline systems don't react to emotions, they react to specific requests. If you're vague, nothing changes. But when you use clear, recognized terms, the system responds differently. You get priority handling, better coordination, smoother transitions. It's not about saying more, it's about saying the right thing. Now let's talk about pressure at the gate. Full flight, limited space, staff asking passengers to check their bags. Most people assume they have no choice, but if your bag contains essential medical items, you are not required to give it up. You can keep it with you in the cabin. The key is staying calm and being clear about why. Now here's something many people never think to ask: fee adjustments. Some airlines quietly offer reduced or waived fees for older passengers in certain situations, but they won't bring it up themselves. You have to ask, and when you do, you might be surprised what gets removed. And finally, something that isn't written clearly anywhere: flexibility. Even on full flights, staff sometimes have the ability to make small adjustments: better seating, more comfort, easier access, but it depends on how you approach it. Polite requests open doors, demanding closes them instantly. Here's what all of this really comes down to. Air travel today isn't just about rules, it's about awareness. Most people move through airports hoping everything goes smoothly, but experienced travelers don't rely on hope. They understand the system, and once you do that, everything changes. You move with confidence, you avoid unnecessary stress, and your entire journey becomes easier. So now I want to ask you, which of these surprised you the most? Because that's probably the one that will help you the most on your next trip. And if this gave you a clearer edge for 2026 travel, make sure you stay updated, because airports aren't slowing down anytime soon. Travel smart, stay prepared, and make every trip easier than the last.